You've been taught to manifest it, to picture it clearly, to repeat affirmations dozens of times each day and embody it completely. But what if the very process of attempting to draw something toward you is actually pushing it further away? This is the hidden paradox nobody discusses, the energetic prison of traditional manifestation. When you operate from the belief that you need to pull experiences into your existence, whether that's connection, prosperity, inner calm, or life direction, you're secretly affirming that these things aren't present right now, that they exist somewhere else, far from you, completely separate. This mindset builds an energetic chasm between your current state and the life you're seeking. Within quantum mechanics, this separation is the determining factor. Here's what's really happening. The cosmos doesn't react to your desires. It responds to your state of being. The quantum realm isn't some cosmic shopping mall where you browse with longing. It's a reflection system that mirrors back your energetic signature with scientific accuracy. Each moment you yearn for something, you're transmitting scarcity. Each time you pursue, you're resonating from the space of lacking what you claim to seek. And this field, completely impartial and without judgment, sends that exact energy back to you. This pattern traps countless people. They speak their intentions aloud while their energy contradicts those words. They practice meditation at sunrise, then spend the remainder of their day in anxiety. They declare their faith while internally vibrating worry, uncertainty, and restlessness. What shows up? Identical cycles, identical limitations, identical results, or the complete absence of them. Here's the breakthrough moment. You don't need to draw towards you what you already embody. You don't pull in what's far away. You step into what's already present within the field. Everything you long for exists right now, not as imagination, but as energetic reality. In quantum space, every possible outcome exists at once, similar to radio frequencies. You're not creating anything brand new. You're simply adjusting your receiver to match what's been broadcasting, patiently waiting for you to align with it. This transforms everything from pulling to matching, from reaching to becoming, from hoping to embodying. What researchers like Dr. Joe Dispenza describe as the infinite possibility field, a dimension where every variation of your existence already lives as pure energy. When your thoughts, feelings, and sense of self harmonize with one of these probability lines, physical reality shifts. Not because you struggled for it, not because you forced it, but because you transformed into the version of yourself who naturally lives that experience. The real work happens within. It's not about manifestation techniques or ceremonies or watching for universal signs. It's about internal harmony, aligning completely with the reality you say you want. It's about experiencing today what you used to postpone, behaving today as though it's already your truth, thinking today like the person who already possesses it. Not from pretending, but from energetic accuracy. The reality is this: you're not drawing anything to you. You're recalling, returning, realigning. The version of you who already experiences what you desire doesn't exist in tomorrow. It exists in a parallel reality, reachable through frequency matching. So consider this. What if the delays you're experiencing aren't about perfect timing, but about energetic mismatch? What if the field is constantly offering it to you, but your current identity keeps declining it because it doesn't align with the signal you're broadcasting? This transformation begins not through increased effort, but through transformed perception. Through recognizing the biggest misconception in manifestation work, believing you must obtain what you already are. Once this clicks, the striving stops. The the mental chatter fades and deeper wisdom emerges. You were never disconnected from your ideal life. You were simply tuned to an incompatible frequency. This content isn't about instruction in attraction techniques. It's about revealing how to collapse into your authentic power, into your reality, into your timeline. Because tomorrow isn't something you move toward, it's something you become. And the quantum field? It's been awaiting your signal from the beginning. Imagine if everything you've ever desired already exists, not in some far-off tomorrow, but right here, within a version of this moment you haven't yet accessed. This isn't symbolic language. This is quantum science. In traditional thinking, existence flows in sequence, action, then consequence. You move, then outcomes appear. But within quantum reality, time isn't linear. Life doesn't develop in straight lines. It exists as an endless spectrum of potential results, all vibrating as possibilities, waiting for one element: your energetic alignment. Within this space, you don't pull in a different reality. You tune into it. You enter it. You collapse it into being. Let's examine this more closely. At the quantum scale, everything exists as both matter and energy wave. An energy wave represents pure potential, unlimited possibilities, until consciousness observes it. When an aware being focuses attention on that wave, it crystallizes into a specific result. This isn't theoretical, it's established science. The renowned observer effect demonstrates this repeatedly. Reality responds differently under conscious observation. Your observation isn't passive, it's creative. It doesn't simply witness reality unfolding, it determines what becomes manifest. This is where quantum creation starts, not by requesting the universe to deliver something, but by becoming the type of consciousness that resonates with what already exists. Consider your desires as vibrational stations on a receiver. The wealth you seek? It's broadcasting on a channel. The connection you crave? It's transmitting at a specific frequency. Your dream existence isn't locked behind barriers. It's streaming right now. But if you're tuned to limitation, anxiety, uncertainty, or mere survival, you'll never receive that transmission. Not because it's absent, but because you're not harmonizing with it. This is where resonance becomes the universal key. In quantum physics, similar energies attract transcends philosophy. It's scientific law. Everything carries a vibrational signature. Every thought, every emotion, every belief system. When your internal condition matches the frequency of your intended outcome, the field doesn't send it to you. It reflects it back. Your identity becomes the transmission. Your energy becomes the instruction. This connects Neville Goddard's wisdom with quantum science. His eternal teaching, live in the feeling of the wish already fulfilled, isn't about acting. It's about embodying. Experiencing now what your future self naturally feels, not as performance, but as energetic communication, a statement, a collapse into being. If you're finding this perspective shifts something inside you, hit that like button and subscribe for more consciousness-expanding content that actually works. You don't collapse fresh reality through intense thinking. You accomplish it through authentic being. This explains why those who chase results often postpone them, because the energy of chasing vibrates from "I don't possess it yet." That frequency can only access more of the same: longing, distance, endless waiting. However, when you transition into authentic presence, not wishful presence but vibrational alignment, you shift from requesting to receiving, from wanting to welcoming. Let's clarify this. Reality isn't external to you. It exists within your frequency bandwidth. Your role isn't to draw it closer, it's to tune in precisely. This means adjusting your internal condition to match the version of life you want to experience. It means feeling prosperous before wealth appears, feeling cherished before relationships manifest, feeling complete before external circumstances confirm it. This isn't self-deception, it's energetic alignment. The quantum field isn't testing your patience, it's responding to your vibration. When your thoughts and emotions match the timeline of your desired experience, the field collapses in your direction, not as compensation, but as natural law. Let this penetrate deeply. You don't create from the energy of lacking. You create from the vibration of certainty. Certainty that everything already exists and that your frequency is the access key. When you next feel blocked, ask yourself, what am I attempting to attract that I haven't yet embodied? What future am I keeping distant by refusing to feel it presently? Because if reality mirrors back to us, then every transformation starts not with increased effort, but with deeper attunement. Reality isn't something to be deserved, pursued, or attracted. It's something to be accessed through the most sophisticated technology you own, your energetic frequency. Each time you declare, "I need this," the quantum field receives your message, but it doesn't hear your words. It reads your vibration. And usually, what it detects is, "I don't possess it currently." Allow that to register fully. When you attempt to attract from a state of emptiness, you broadcast scarcity. When you desire with desperation, you anchor yourself in the frequency of absence. This creates the contradiction that traps so many people in endless cycles of nearly manifesting. They want a different reality, but they haven't yet transformed into the person who naturally lives within it. You don't manifest your desires, you manifest your identity. This isn't about moral judgment or spiritual evaluation. It's pure vibrational science. The quantum field doesn't respond to your yearning. It responds to your alignment. When your energy communicates, "Someday I'll arrive there," then that someday remains perpetually out of reach, because you're not resonating with the present moment where it already exists. Here's the fundamental truth. You cannot maintain a reality that you're not energetically compatible with. Even if it manifests temporarily, it will dissolve. Why? Because your unconscious mind will undermine it to preserve your current identity, the self you keep reinforcing through your emotions, thoughts, and daily vibrations. Think of your energy as a radio transmission. You cannot receive 101.1 FM while broadcasting 87.5. Regardless of how desperately you want to hear the music of your ideal life, if your system remains tuned to fear, uncertainty, control, or impatience, you won't access it. Not because it's unavailable, but because you're not energetically positioned there yet. This is where the ego quietly sabotages progress. The ego flourishes in the space between your current self and your desires. It exists within the tension of, "I'll find happiness when." It feeds on the illusion that something is absent, so it compels you to search, to strive, to exert more force. But the field doesn't respond to force. It responds to harmony. And harmony occurs not when you push harder, but when you surrender deeper into trust, into presence, into vibrational consistency. Dr. Bruce Lipton's epigenetic research illuminates this perfectly. Your biology continuously responds to your internal atmosphere. Your body's cells don't merely follow the physical world. They follow the energy of your convictions, your emotions, your frequency. This means your physical form, and consequently, your actions, patterns, and choices will always align with who you believe yourself to be. So examine yourself honestly. Are you attempting to attract love while still vibrating in defensive mode? Are you trying to manifest prosperity while still vibrating in limitation? Are you visualizing your dream life while emotionally anchored in anxiety? If this describes you, you're not damaged. You're simply broadcasting from an incompatible signal. To collapse a new reality, you don't need more determination. You need more vibrational authenticity. You must experience it before witnessing it, embody it before proving it, become it before believing it. This is where identity transformation becomes holy work. The version of you who lives in your desired reality. What do they experience? How do they move, breathe, communicate? What do they no longer accept or fear? These aren't acting questions. They are frequency questions. Let me share something most people miss about identity work. Your identity isn't just your thoughts about yourself. It's the energetic blueprint that your entire reality uses as a reference point. Every cell in your body, every neural pathway in your brain, every electromagnetic pattern you emit, all of it aligns with your core identity frequency. This is why surface-level affirmations often fail. You're trying to change the reflection, while the identity broadcasting the signal remains unchanged. Your identity exists in layers. There's the conscious identity, who you think you are. There's the subconscious identity, who you've been conditioned to believe you are. And then there's the quantum identity, who you truly are across all possibilities. Most people only work with the first layer, wondering why their reality doesn't shift. The quantum identity is where the real magic lives. This is the version of you that exists beyond limitation, beyond past conditioning, beyond the stories you've been telling yourself. When you access this level, you're not trying to become someone new. You're remembering who you've always been beneath the programming. Here's what's fascinating. Recent research in neuroscience shows that when you consistently embody a new identity, your brain physically rewires itself to support that identity. Dr. Norman Doidge's work on neuroplasticity reveals that the brain can literally reorganize its structure based on repeated patterns of thought and behavior. But here's where it gets quantum. This reorganization doesn't just happen in your brain. It happens in your biofield, your electromagnetic signature, your entire energetic presence. Because when you start embodying even fragments of that version today, you begin merging timelines. You transition from hoping to holding, from trying to tuning. It's a subtle yet profound shift. You're no longer attempting to arrive somewhere. You recognize you're already traveling the path. But timeline merging isn't just a metaphor, it's a measurable phenomenon. Scientists studying consciousness and quantum mechanics have discovered what they call coherence states. Moments when your brain waves, heart rhythms, and bioelectric field synchronize in perfect harmony. During these states, people report experiences that seem to defy conventional time and space. They access information, insights, and solutions that weren't available in their ordinary state of consciousness. What's really happening is that coherence opens doorways between parallel probability streams. Every choice you've ever made, every path you've ever considered, every version of your life that could exist, they're all there, vibrating as potential realities. When you achieve true coherence, you can literally step between these streams, selecting the timeline that matches your clearest intention. This is why meditation isn't just relaxation, it's timeline technology. When you meditate with the specific intention of embodying your desired identity, you're not just calming your mind. You're creating the coherence necessary to access parallel versions of yourself. The ancient mystics knew this. They called it becoming one with the divine. But what they were really describing was achieving coherence with their highest possible timeline. Every emotional alignment becomes a step forward. Every moment you respond differently. Every thought you elevate. Every limiting belief you release. You are closing the gap between who you were and who you're becoming. And that closing is what the universe recognizes as preparation. Let's conclude with this simple truth. You don't receive what you're unwilling to become. This doesn't mean forcing yourself into someone you're not. It means remembering who you truly are beneath the layers of fear and outdated narratives. The moment you stop trying to attract from absence and start creating from presence, everything begins shifting. Not because you're chasing it, but because you've become the magnet, the match, the mirror. And in the quantum realm, that's sufficient. You won't hear it, you won't see it, you won't even recognize at first that something transformational just occurred. But the instant your vibration shifts, reality begins to collapse. Not collapse meaning destruction, collapse meaning selecting, crystallizing, materializing a possibility into form. This is the true meaning of collapsing reality in quantum terms. Not destruction, creation, not effort, alignment. And the most crucial truth, it doesn't announce itself dramatically. The quantum shift is quiet, subtle, internal initially. It appears as though nothing changed, but everything did. Your frequency reorganized, your timeline adjusted, your emotional signature began vibrating closer to the version of reality you've been seeking. And the universe, like a perfect mirror, started reshaping to reflect it. But because we're programmed by three-dimensional thinking, we question it. We look around and assume nothing's different. So we retreat, we doubt, we slip back into the familiar frequency that feels safe, even when it no longer serves us. Don't do this. This is the most delicate, most sacred moment of quantum manifestation, the invisible shift. You see, the physical world operates within time. The quantum field doesn't. It responds immediately to energetic coherence. But your physical senses, your sight, hearing, logic, may need time to catch up to what your soul already activated. This is why faith transcends spiritual concept. It's a vibrational anchor. When you maintain your alignment after shifting, even without visible proof, you're communicating to the field, this is my identity now. And that consistency deepens the signal, amplifies the frequency, and speeds up the collapse. Let's make this practical. You choose to embody abundance. You meditate, you feel serenity, you shift away from scarcity. That moment is a collapse. The field starts moving. But then your bank account doesn't transform overnight. Your familiar fears return, and you question whether anything actually shifted. It did. But it's hidden for now, like a seed underground. The collapse starts in the invisible realm. It restructures your energy. It reprograms your magnetic field. And as you maintain that state, as you continue feeling abundant, the external world begins reshaping. Opportunities arise, ideas emerge, synchronicities multiply. You don't need to chase them. You just need to sustain the energetic match. This is where quantum coherence becomes vital. Coherence happens when your mind and heart vibrate together. Your thoughts support your emotions, and your emotions maintain your identity. Research from the HeartMath Institute demonstrates that when this harmony exists, your electromagnetic field becomes more powerful, organized, and clear. You become a precise broadcaster, a clean signal. and the field always responds to the clearest signal. But let's dive deeper into what coherence actually creates. When your heart and brain synchronize, something extraordinary happens at the cellular level. Your DNA begins to relax and unwind, allowing for genetic expression that was previously dormant. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research shows that people in coherent states can actually activate genes associated with healing, regeneration, and enhanced intuition within minutes. This cellular transformation isn't just biological, it's informational. Your cells carry memory, not just of your personal experiences, but of all possible experiences across quantum states. When you achieve coherence, you're essentially updating your cellular database, downloading information from the version of you who already lives your desired reality. Think about this practically. Have you ever had a moment where you suddenly knew something you'd never learned, where a solution appeared fully formed in your awareness, where you felt an inexplicable certainty about a decision? That's your cells accessing quantum information from parallel timelines where you've already navigated similar situations. This is why the feeling comes first, then the manifestation. You're not trying to create something from nothing. You're downloading the experience from a timeline where it already exists. Your cells recognize the vibrational signature of that timeline and begin reorganizing your physical reality to match it. Here's where most people get tripped up. They think coherence is about maintaining perfect peace or constant positivity. That's not coherence. That's suppression. True coherence includes all emotions, but processes them from a centered state. When you're coherent, you can feel anger without becoming anger. You can experience fear without being controlled by fear. You maintain your core frequency while allowing the full spectrum of human experience to flow through you. This emotional fluidity is crucial because every emotion carries information. Fear shows you where you're not yet aligned. Anger reveals where boundaries need to be established. Sadness indicates where healing is needed. When you resist these emotions, you block the very information that could accelerate your transformation. So when your heart declares, "I already possess it," and your mind concurs, boom, collapse. This is why letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. It's not abandoning your dream. It's releasing the need for it to appear in a specific manner or time frame. Because you already collapsed it the moment you vibrated with certainty. But here's what nobody tells you about letting go. It's not a one-time event. It's a continuous practice of releasing attachment to how and when your reality will shift. Every moment you choose trust over control, presence over future tripping, being over becoming, you're practicing the art of quantum letting go. The ego mind wants guarantees. It wants to know exactly how things will unfold, when they'll happen, and what steps to take. But the quantum field operates on different principles. It responds to energetic coherence, not strategic planning. It honors feeling states, not logical sequences. It materializes through synchronicity, not force. This creates what I call the quantum paradox of manifestation. The more you try to control the process, the more you interfere with it. The more you release control while maintaining clear intention, the faster reality responds. It's like trying to remember a word that's on the tip of your tongue. The harder you try, the more elusive it becomes. But the moment you relax and trust that it will come, it appears instantly. What Abraham Hicks describes as the allowing mode. It's not the mode of striving, proving, or pleading. It's the mode of readiness, of openness, of knowing. And from that knowing, you receive. Not because you finally earned it, but because you're finally aligned with it. Let's be clear. You won't witness the moment your reality shifts, but you will sense it. A sudden calm, a wave of clarity, a gentle joy without cause. That's your signal. That's the echo of the collapse. That's the true beginning of transformation. When you're no longer struggling for your new life, you're living from it. So when you next feel that invisible shift, remain there. Don't seek proof. Don't panic when the world needs time to reflect what already shifted within. Hold your frequency. The world will follow. Because manifestation isn't about creating something new. It's about becoming something authentic. And once you do, reality has no option but to meet you there. There comes a moment, subtle yet profound, when you understand the universe isn't testing you, punishing you, or keeping anything from you. It's simply responding. The quantum field has no emotions. It doesn't examine what you want and question your worthiness. It doesn't review your history, your karma, or your intentions. It reads only one thing: your frequency. It mirrors it faithfully, accurately, consistently. This is why existence sometimes feels confusing, because your conscious mind requests one thing while your vibration broadcasts something entirely different. You might be visualizing prosperity but vibrating in scarcity. You might be affirming love but resonating with rejection fears. You might be dreaming of freedom but emotionally attached to control, doubt, or comparison. And the field? It doesn't argue or assess. It simply reflects what you are consistently being. It's not personal, it's vibrational. This is the Great Awakening. Manifestation isn't about persuading the universe of your desires. It's about tuning your energy into alignment with the version of you who already possesses it. That version of you already exists. It's already alive in the field. But you can't experience it from a frequency that opposes it. The field cannot deliver peaceful frequencies through chaotic vibrations. It cannot bring you worthiness experiences through self-doubt emotions. It's not because you're undeserving, it's because the vibrations simply don't harmonize. So what's the solution? You stop focusing on controlling results and start curating your internal state. You begin the sacred practice of observing your own thoughts, not judging them, but becoming conscious of them. You tune into your emotional baseline, not just how you feel occasionally, but how you feel habitually. Because it's your baseline that broadcasts the signal. It's the frequency you maintain when nobody's watching that determines your reality's tone. When you start taking ownership of what you're transmitting, everything transforms. You shift from victim to creator. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What am I vibrating that's attracting this?" Not from guilt, not from blame, but from awareness and empowerment. The field is your mirror, but most people keep trying to change the reflection without changing what they're showing it. They try to manifest more money without healing their scarcity story. They try to find love without becoming someone who feels lovable. They try to shift their external world without ever examining their internal one. And the field continues responding accordingly. So here's your activation moment. Ask yourself right now, what am I consistently observing? What am I emotionally repeating? What frequency am I living from? Not just during meditation, but throughout daily life. Let me give you a practical framework for this self-observation. I call it the frequency audit. 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening, pause and honestly assess your energetic state. What's your emotional baseline? What thoughts are running on repeat? What stories are you telling yourself about your life, your possibilities, your worthiness? Don't judge what you find. just observe. Because awareness is the first step in any transformation. You can't change what you're unconscious of. Most people are broadcasting the same limited frequencies for years, wondering why their reality never shifts. They're like someone complaining about poor radio reception while never checking if they're tuned to the right station. Here's what you'll likely discover. Your baseline frequency is probably much lower than you think. We're conditioned to normalize states of mild stress, low-level anxiety, and subtle dissatisfaction. We think this is just normal life, but it's actually a specific frequency that attracts more of the same. The good news? Once you become aware of your patterns, you can consciously choose different ones. But here's the key. You have to be consistent. Consciousness isn't a part-time job. You can't be mindful for 10 minutes in meditation and unconscious for the other 14 hours and expect major shifts. This is where most spiritual practices fall short. They treat consciousness like a hobby instead of a way of life. They compartmentalize awareness into specific times and places instead of recognizing that every moment is a choice point. Every thought is a vote. Every emotion is a signal to the field. But when you commit to conscious living, when you make awareness your full-time practice, something remarkable happens. You start catching yourself in old patterns before they gain momentum. You notice when you're about to slip into victim mode and consciously choose empowerment instead. You feel scarcity trying to take hold and immediately shift into abundance frequency. This isn't about perfection. It's about redirection. It's about developing what I call quantum reflexes, the ability to quickly recognize when you're off frequency and gently guide yourself back to alignment. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about choosing repeatedly to return to the frequency of who you want to be until that frequency becomes natural. And then it becomes reality. When you realize the field is neutral, you reclaim complete power. Because if it's not judging you, it's also not limiting you. There are no energetic gatekeepers, only energetic agreements, and you can renegotiate them starting right now. With every breath, every belief, every moment of presence, you're casting votes into the field. You're declaring, "This is my identity," and the universe responds, "So it is." So let this be your shift. You don't have to earn your dream life. You just have to match it. You have to broadcast it, and you have to do it with the emotional integrity of someone who's already living it. This is why this moment matters. This is your opportunity to stop reacting and start radiating, to stop pleading and start broadcasting, to stop explaining and start embodying, because the field is already listening. If this message speaks to you, type in the comments below, "I choose my reality now." Let the act of writing it become a vibrational anchor, a signal to the universe that you are now viewing life through the lens of creation, not reaction. There exists a frequency within you, subtle, powerful, timeless, that the universe is silently monitoring. Not your words, not your rituals, not your vision boards, but the quiet, coherent vibration that you carry underneath everything else. This is the energy that shapes timelines. This is the code the quantum field recognizes, and most people overlook it. Not because they're approaching it incorrectly, but because they're overcomplicating it. You don't have to convince the universe. You have to harmonize with it. Here's the truth. Manifestation isn't about intensity. It's about coherence, emotional coherence, energetic integrity. Alignment between what you think, what you feel, and what you are. The quantum field is not a wish fulfillment machine. It's a responsive mirror. It doesn't reward hard work. It reflects coherent vibration. That's why desperation pushes away. That's why forced positivity fails. That's why saying one thing and feeling another creates confusion in your timeline. The field is neutral. It doesn't judge. It doesn't question your motivations. It doesn't evaluate your worthiness. It simply amplifies your signal. And the cleaner, clearer, and more consistent your signal is, the faster reality bends. Coherence is what transforms a scattered wish into a gravitational force. Let's make this concrete. What does living in coherence look like? It looks like starting your day with gratitude before planning. It looks like making decisions that your future self would appreciate. It looks like feeling peaceful even when results haven't manifested, because you know you're already broadcasting the right frequency. That's the transformation. When you stop micromanaging outcomes and start cultivating alignment, when your trust becomes your tuning mechanism. And here's the miracle. The moment you fully align, mentally, emotionally, energetically, you don't have to chase anything. What's meant for you becomes magnetic. You stop trying to force events to happen, and they start flowing through you. Because the quantum field isn't activated by pressure, it's activated by presence. This magnetic quality isn't metaphorical, it's measurable. When you achieve true alignment, your bioelectric field literally becomes more coherent and powerful. Studies using sensitive electromagnetic equipment show that coherent individuals emit organized field patterns that can actually influence their environment at a distance. This is the scientific basis for what mystics have always called presence. When someone walks into a room and everyone feels it, when certain people seem to effortlessly attract opportunities and connections, when some individuals have what we call natural magnetism, they're not using mysterious powers. They're simply broadcasting coherent frequencies that organize reality around them. But here's what's truly revolutionary. This isn't a special gift reserved for a chosen few. It's your natural state. Every human being has the capacity for this level of coherence. The only difference is that most people have been conditioned out of it. We've learned to fragment our energy, to scatter our attention, to live in a constant state of low-level chaos. The path back to coherence isn't about adding something new. It's about removing what doesn't belong. It's about releasing the mental noise, the emotional reactivity, the energetic static that keeps you broadcasting mixed signals to the field. Let's go deeper. Every time you enter genuine coherence, your heart emits a powerful electromagnetic signature that communicates with the field in real time. That signal is stronger than your thoughts, stronger than your plans. It's you, free of resistance, tuned to truth. Recent research in quantum biology reveals something astonishing. Coherent states don't just affect your personal field. They create what scientists call non-local correlations. This means your coherence can actually influence quantum events at a distance, including the probability of certain outcomes manifesting in your life. This explains the phenomenon of synchronicity. When you're in coherence, you're not just attracting random coincidences. You're creating quantum entanglement with the people, places, and opportunities that match your frequency. The universe isn't delivering these experiences to you. You're quantum entangling with timelines where they already exist. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need a coherent signal. You don't need more information. You need more embodiment. You don't need to manifest harder. You need to remember who you already are. Because here's the highest truth. You're not waiting for your future. Your future is waiting for your coherence. And when that understanding clicks, When your vibration stabilizes in truth, peace, wholeness, the collapse happens naturally. The shift becomes effortless. Be coherent. That's when timelines shift. That's when the field responds. That's when manifestation stops being a practice and starts being your natural way of existing. The field is listening. The only question is, what are you broadcasting? Now that you understand how your observation literally creates your reality, you need to see how the observer effect is the missing piece that transforms everything about manifestation. This scientific principle reveals why your awareness alone can shift timelines instantly, and it's exactly what you need to master next.